Alright, how's it going, y'all? So this is my first video that I've ever done with math before, so bear with me here, but hopefully we can learn a little bit about ellipses. Okay, now to understand what an ellipse is to begin with, you have to go back to the first video that I posted on Google Classroom. That has all the information about the definition of an ellipse and really what it is. So go back and watch that first video to understand some of this vocab, because I'm going to be using that vocab that you went over in that first video in this video. Okay, but right now we're going to be learning about the standard form of an equation of ellipses, which is this over here. Okay, now we've got a couple different working parts, right? X and Y represent all these points along here. Okay, understand we're working on a coordinate plane, nothing unusual there. Okay, and the first thing that we need to kind of change is our H and K, all right, and then we'll also change our A and B. So those are four different working parts. You change H, you change K, you change A, and you change B. So let's talk about what H is first. So H, all right, H comma K, okay, these are the coordinates, okay, notice these are coordinates. This represents the center, okay, so H comma K is the center of the ellipse, which is right there, okay. So that's the first thing you need to know, right? Keep in mind, if it is positive, you're good to go. You just plug it straight in here, right? If H is 2, right, plugging it right in here. Now, if it's negative, you got to do that reverse negative thing. We've worked with that before. Okay, so H comma K is your center. All right, the next part is A. Okay, now A is the semi-major axis. Okay, so the semi-major axis. Now, the major axis here, okay, the major axis is this entire length right here. Okay, so it goes through the center, reaches the edge, okay, and it connects here. So it's this entire length. Okay, that's the major axis. Okay, now the semi part of that is just this half. Okay, so just to show you, connecting, that length is A. Okay. Now keep in mind it also connects right here. Okay, it goes from this side to this side as well. Okay, but that length is A. Now B, okay, is the semi-minor axis. Okay, so it's the semi-minor axis. Now the minor axis is just this right here. Okay, that entire length. Okay, but the semi part, again, means it's half of it. Okay, so that length right there is my B. Now, the minor axis versus the major axis. Major is the longer one. Okay, minor is the smaller one. Okay, so that's where those two words come from. All right, so anyways, this length is B. Okay, again, this is my center. That's my H comma K. So I've got A and B. Okay. So that, again, those are lengths, okay? I want to reinforce that. So H comma K, those are coordinates. A and B are lengths, okay? Now there's a new kind of point about this, or a new kind of concept that, again, you learned in that first video. But that's what we call, we have two of them, okay? We have two, they're called focus sorry, the singular term for this, okay? But we have two, what we call foci, okay? Kind of a weird word, but that's what it is. Okay, now what each focus is, you'll have to, again, look at that first video to understand the concept for it, but in order to just find the coordinates, let's go ahead and talk about it. Okay, so here's where the foci are located. They're located about here and here. Okay, now they're the same distance from the center, all right? Now, just remember, again, A is that entire length right there, okay? But it turns out, okay, that A is also here, okay? Now, I know that's a little bit confusing, okay? Now, the reason it's confusing, honestly, is because it comes from a very complicated mathematical formula. It's actually in your textbook if you want to take a look at it. But for now, you've just got to understand that A is also this length right here. Okay, now notice you have a right angle here, okay, and this length, super important, okay, this is what we're going to call C. That length right there is C. just from here to here. Okay. A, again, is that entire length. I can't enforce that enough. Okay. A is this length, but it's also this length. Okay. And then C is this length right here. Okay. Now, you could use the Pythagorean theorem, okay, to actually find this length of C. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and just give it to you now because I'll kind of show you why that's important. Okay. So with C, okay, C is going to equal the square root, okay, of A squared. All right, that's a little hard to see. A squared minus B squared. Okay, so that's how you find C. All right, and the reason why finding C is important is because now what you can do is now you can actually find the coordinates for those two foci. Okay, you know the coordinates for the center if you have the equation, so you just take that that point, right? And if your major axis is x, okay, you've got your h. You're going to subtract c to get to that coordinate, okay? Or if you know, if you're trying to find this one, you're going to take that coordinate. You're going to add again in the x direction, and then you're going to get that coordinate right there. Okay, so that's kind of the general gist of it on that. I'm also going to do an example, and I will post that.